Chuck.
Hey.
Awesome meeting you.
Thank you for, all right.
You look taller on TV.
I think that's what TV's supposed to do, right?
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah. I'm just average height guy.
Right.
You know?
Did being a chief White House correspondent help you be where you are today?
1,000%. In fact, I've always thought that I would have failed at this job without having covered the White House. Covering a White House, I always say what I learned in 6 years of doing that was the best thing about being a White House correspondent is to become a former White House correspondent. It is a thankless job in the moment, and yet I would trade there's nothing I would trade because that experience was so important. I probably traveled to 40 different countries every day at times, and this was covering the Obama years, which is a little different than these years. There were times where I was like, man, I got to learn about this issue, and it was like a graduate school course every day. So it allowed me to be smarter about foreign affairs, smarter about things that aren't about just campaign politics.
You're kind of more qualified than the president to be president.
I'm not gonna, no comment.
Just saying. Well, no. Because all the stuff that you learned, he had to learn the first year being president.
I have a feeling that the list of people qualified to be president is now quite long.
Right.
Okay. If that's if that's the bar, the list is quite long.
Did it feel good to have Obama, the VP, cabinet members, the Senate, everybody knowing your name, knowing exactly who you were?
I'll never forget. It was funny you say that. The first time that a senator that I once lionized said, "Hey, I caught you the other day. What you said with X, Y, and Z," and then quoted me back to me. That was a weird moment. And I thought, okay, maybe people are listening. It was one of those moments. You need to have that so that you're not just finding out you're just talking in the wind. But that was the first time that happened. It was a really cool moment, and then it suddenly became, suddenly my shoulders are heavier. You realize, actually, people are watching, and I might have some influence more than maybe I deserve.
Speaking of that, having influence, being a moderator and an analyst, how do you keep your own opinions or your own leaning left, right to not come off on camera?
Here's what I say. I'm going to do this. All right, I'm still a human being. I have a pulse, right? We're born with original bias. If you're a human being, you're born with original bias. Where you were born, who you were born to, all those things, okay? What religion your parents decide to bring you up, what ethnicity you are, whatever it is. So in that sense, you're born with an original set of biases that come in. So all I look at it is this. My job is to be fair. My job is to be accurate. I do not believe that I should tell you how to vote. I do care. I do draw a line on values. I think we should have a shared set of values that cross party lines. So, if somebody is being legitimately offensive, whether being that isn't a liberal or a conservative position, right? But I would say this, what's frustrating is that we're guilty, all of us now in media are guilty until proven innocent. And I don't like having this feeling is like I have to prove that I'm not biased. You know what? I'm going to let my record speak for itself.
Gotcha.
And you just sort of have to live with it. I think too many of my colleagues worry almost too much about their perception. And I actually think that's when you end up, then suddenly you start shading how you report things.
Right. You start being Mediocreville.
Say what you see.
Right.
Don't round the edges. I think this is a mistake we made too often. I think I did it. I think a lot of us did it. Where you thought, well, I don't want to embarrass that person, or maybe that takes out of context, or this will be too controversial if I say it that way. If that's what you see, say it, let the chips fall where they may. We haven't let the chips fall enough where they may. I think that's how we got this guy.
Last question. I have to cut it off here.
Yes, you do.
I'm sure you've done that to other. No. I'm sure you've done that to other people. Richard,
and he's on you.
Okay, he's on.
He's on you. And you're feeling guilty about it.
Speaking of someone who doesn't round the edges, how about like Jon Stewart, The Daily Show? He would just say whatever he would say, and it was.
He did, and I used to say, and he would. I still don't think. It still was. If I was doing a comedy show, I could say all those things too. Okay.
But his had so much.
There's no doubt, and that always felt as if I was like, we can't be compared to him.
Right.
We're not. We shouldn't be held to the same standard. Our job. Look, at the end of the day, I know there are a lot of people in this country that disagree with each other. We do need to share a certain set of facts.
Right.
So I still want to talk to those 40%. I think what you have to be careful of is not to talk down to some viewers. I think in satire, while it's great, it can come across as a little elitist and condescending if you're not careful.
Right.
So I have always been jealous of what he's been able to do.
No doubt, he's awesome.
I can't do what he does, or I wouldn't be in the position I'm in.
Gotcha. Great talking to you.
Right,
it's
brother.
like I love watching you.
Thank you, man.
I'm glad I got to meet you.
This is Chuck Todd with Meet the Press, and you're watching FabTV.